Hey, it's Nikki. We have a podcast on our network called Working Forward. It's all about future of work topics. And there's a special series that we do in the PeopleForward Network community, myself with our Chief Strategy Officer, Jason Cochran, and we break down the inner workings of PeopleForward Network and how we're doing some things to really model the way of what it's like to lead and live out what it means to be a people-forward organization. So I hope that you enjoy the special bonus episode that I recorded with my dear pal, Jason Cochran.
You're listening to Working Forward, a future of work focused podcast from PeopleForward Network. These episodes pave the road ahead, helping us confidently step into the future as a leader who moves people forward. After all, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Let's go. Nikki, this is our first ever Working Forward live stream in our community.
I love it. This is platform
fun.
So clean and crisp. I feel like this camera is so much better than our Google Meet, or the experience is so much better than Google Meet. I'm liking it already.
I know I am too. I'm digging it. And for any of you that are out there that are watching that may be with us on the live stream, this is our first time doing this. We're kind of testing things out here in the platform, so just bear with us. As we continue doing this, we're going to have more and more people as we continue adding people to the community. But this is a fun way for us to test out the capabilities of the platform, doing this live stream with you today. And you probably already know what you RSVP'd for. This is the Working Forward podcast. This is a PFN original podcast on the future of work. And so today I've got our founder of PeopleForward Network, Nikki, Lewallen, Gregory with us. And we're going to take you behind the scenes a little bit on how to have successful, healthy remote teams. You'd think this is something, because it's been around since 2020, that organizations have, quote unquote, figured it out, but a lot of them are still struggling. And so we want to do our small part today to take you behind the curtain of what have we done at PeopleForward Network to do this. And that's not to say that we've got it 100% figured out, but we've figured out a lot of stuff that works for our team and works really well for us to be a highly productive, highly connected team that has a strong culture. And so maybe, Nikki, let's start there as we dig into this conversation on having highly connected remote teams. We can't really get into the how we're doing it until maybe we talk about first who we are, because I think it starts with culture and values and those kind of things. So take it away. Tell us about the PFN culture and values that have helped lay the foundation to be able to do remote work successfully.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jason. And I know in 2020, I think, remote became a norm because we had to. And I look back and I remember those days of like the first day where everyone was working from home. And I remember feeling like, I didn't know that I was preparing for quite a few years to be able to maybe share things that I had failed forward on, because in 2017, I went from paying the very high overhead rent expense. I still drive by that office and I look at that corner office and those beautiful, beautiful windows. And I'm like, but I don't miss it. I don't miss those payments. And yep. I absolutely love working from home, and had from 2017 until 2020 when, everyone had to learn this. I had some time to figure it out. And the thing that I cherished more than not having to pay the expenses of brick and mortar is the work-life integration. I think I used to call it like work-life balance back then. And then I really came to know that like balance isn't really a thing. We can try as much as we can, but like change is inevitable. Problems are going to happen. It's like really the integration. And what that meant to me is I get to have more life experience in the other buckets of my life when I am home, because I can be integrative and go throw a load of laundry and prep dinner, do the things, take my dog gets to see me a lot more, those things, so that I can be with my loved ones and really maximize my day. So PeopleForward Network, we are here to help leaders move people forward and do the things that really matter to build meaningful work experiences. And what we found and we prioritize most is flexible work. Others call it flexible first. I love that. And it gives us this opportunity to, because we are living integrated and rather than siloed and spending lots of hours in the car and whatever, we get to really enjoy more buckets of our life, even when work makes up the most of it. So People Forward Network, we get to lead the way and share a lot of things because we've been doing it for a long time.
That's right. And to that point, before we hopped on here, you read my mind. I did laundry. I switched the laundry over from the washing machine over to the dryer, and it just feels good to be able to do that. And I know my wife, Rachel, she certainly appreciates that. She's like, if you're going to be working from home, you know what? If you can at least take care of some stuff while you're home too, in between the tasks that you're doing, that's great.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it's a healthy part of work, not only now, but continuing moving in the future. But Nikki, to speak a little bit into who we are from a value standpoint too, I know we highly value it. Thinking about like our culture code and the values, what are some of the additional things that we've done to pave the way for some of the what that we're going to get into in just a minute to really help set that stage? So we know that flexible work is really important to our team. How does it tie into our values of who we are at PFN?
Yeah, well, one thing that I'm most proud that we created as a team is our culture code, which sits beyond our core values. Most companies have core values, and a lot of them do a great job of living those out, and others want to sharpen, or they're like, we don't live them out at all. I don't even know what they are. I got to go look them up on the wall or whatever. And it's our way. Our culture code is how we live these things out. And when I think about remote work, I'll give just a couple of examples of our culture code. Our top one is live work-life integration. And we love to celebrate, hey, heading to the gym at noon. Hey, heading out to meet my mom for lunch today, because that is our whole life experience, right? So we love to celebrate that. We have a channel on our Slack called Life Wheel where we are sharing those things. I also think another one of our culture codes is we focus on results over time spent. And if you think how much time it takes to run around and do all the things to get to a meeting versus use technology and be efficient, be back to back. I mean, hey, your days could be shorter. You do have to you have to be disciplined with that, because I love work, and sometimes it's like, okay, I used to do all of this in basically 5 actual hours of work because I had all this stuff in the middle, right? But now I still fill my days many times. I have to remind myself, okay, we are here about the results. And with our remote lifestyle, we can focus on what are those results and then use our technology and do the things that really matter, or what we also call in our culture code, the hell yes. And the remote work lifestyle gives us so many more hell yes, meaning like absolute. This is something like I love to do and feels good to me. Opportunities to make those decisions and live that stuff out.
That's so good. And so, listeners, the key thing you want to get to there, I think, in terms of what Nikki just shared, is put first things first, right? And what Nikki's talking about there is at PFN, it wasn't just like, hey, we're just going to roll into doing flexible work. It's like, hey, if we value this, let's make sure our values were clearly defined. We're clear on that with everybody on the team as to what that looks like. Our culture code, making sure that those habits, those expectations are aligned with what it means to successfully work remotely and flexibly as well. So put first things first. Make sure that you're looking at your values, your culture code, those foundational elements, and thinking about remote flexible work through that lens first before you get into this next piece that we're going to get into now, which is coming up with the ideas of how are we going to do this and starting to put them into place. So Nikki, let's start going down that road. What does flexible work, now that we had it as part of our values, our culture code of who we are, what did we do to start trying to roll that out and figure out what it looks like for us at PFN?
I would say if I looked at what the umbrella statement is here, it is intentional design, and always asking yourself, going back to the hell yes, like, why are we doing this? Are we doing this just to do this and check the box? Or are we doing this because we're working towards this end result and this goal? And so how many people talk about death by meeting? We aren't having remote team meetings to have remote team meetings. We could, in a remote environment, figure out asynchronous ways of collaborating, right? Because we can, and that's more meaningful. And the meeting that would have taken an hour and not everybody gets to speak, we can do an asynchronous thing, takes about 15, 20 minutes, and everyone's voice is heard because they get the opportunity to type this in and be able to be part of it through a technology platform like we use Slack, right? That's, one way of looking at it. It's just this very intentional design. You have to rethink. It's not the same way. And so when people are like, remote work, it just doesn't work. You have to be in person. No, you can't do the same things in these two different, very different environments. I think, Jason, another thing when we looked at what are these intentional efforts, just like we're doing with our community, our team is a community and we have rituals. And one of those rituals for accountability and to help each other know what's going on for the week is every Monday we try to, by like noon Eastern, it's not like a hard and fast, but on Mondays, midday, you are posting your priorities. And we have a Slack channel for our priorities where, the date per week, we can use that as reflection. Just the other day, our chief of staff, Brittany, she's like, I don't know about you, but like I glance at my that's like my North Star every week. And I'm like, yay, me too. I love that. And I never wrap up my week without that. And then here we go on Monday, we're coming back, we're reflecting on, gosh, if anything didn't get done because I missed that. I'm seeing that, reflecting on it before moving forward, but it helps us all prioritize. It's a system. We don't have to meet for it, and everybody's in the loop on what each other are doing and can collaborate better.
And that's been a huge game changer for our team. And they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. And you'd think like that's a pretty big switch going from like, hey, we're going to meet in person every time when we have a team meeting to, hey, we're going to do it asynchronously.
Yeah.
This is one of those few instances where it's like you hit a grand slam with the first at bat. I remember the first one that we did. You pulled it together and it was awesome. In fact, here, I'm going to rattle off what those different sections are. When we run an asynchronous meeting at PFN, this is the design that Nikki's talking about. We have an icebreaker at the beginning where everybody chimes in on Slack. So this is a template we kind of have in Slack that we throw on our channel. Everybody, whenever they have time throughout the day, they go in and there's an icebreaker question like, hey, if you were to be pick a superpower of some kind, what would that superpower be? And so everybody chimes in. Then there's a section for headlines. This is where everyone's going to post updates of like, here's the really important stuff that I got done over this last week that I want to update everybody on. Number 3, agenda. Here are the things that we need to talk about as a team. Get your input on, your feedback on really important things collaboratively that we're working on together toward our goals this month. The 4th one, to-dos. What are the things that maybe are coming out of that are things we need to capture moving forward that people may need to be responsible for? And then we use monday.com as kind of our project management to where people get reminders and nudges of those things. And then lastly, what are some future topics? What are some things that maybe in the future that we need to cover? And so it took some intentional design in saying, okay, from the way we've run our live meetings and the structure and the agenda that we have, let's refactor that for what if we're not all there together at the same time and people are chiming in when they have an opportunity? What does that look like? And so just wanted to share those specific details of kind of the structure of our asynchronous meetings. And what we'll do over time is we'll iterate on that. If we find that there's certain sections maybe we don't need, maybe we need more of a certain other section, then we do that and we have the flexibility to do so. But when you have a global team like we have at PeopleForward Network, where you may have people on different continents, New Zealand, Canada, maybe on the West Coast on Pacific time, we're on Eastern time here in the Midwest in Indianapolis. These asynchronous meetings are a hell yes for how we work, and all of our team members love it because it continues to help them be connected, stay integrated into the things that are going on, but not feel like they have to be on at a specific time of day that may be more inconvenient for them. So it's been a complete game changer. And kudos to you, Nikki. Like I said, the first one that we did, I was like, okay, this is probably going to take maybe 1 or 2 for people to figure it out. It's a grand slam right off the bat. Everybody figured it out, was chiming in on Slack, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun. And I think already, Jason, you said something earlier that made me want to mention the power of being agile when you're remote. I feel like any company today, I highly recommend for leaders to take this agile approach, like share before you're ready. That was a Max Yoder statement that I picked up a long time ago that I love. Like just trying things, try it, iterate, change, right? Because how fast the world is going with technology, like there's really no other way. But when I look at, that very first meeting, I was so inspired because I'd been wanting to try this asynchronous thing for a while. And I was like, oh my gosh, everybody like really jumped on this. This is pretty cool. It's a lot of fun and very energizing because people participated. We've had quite a bit of experience now. And I would say just based on our, just recent team meeting and looking at how do we level up. We just did this yesterday as a team on our team meeting. Like, what are we changing? What are we shifting? The section, I think that is so powerful. I think all of them are really, really solid. But the section that is so powerful as a remote team is encouraging over communication, making sure that even the smallest things that from your seat, gosh, I don't know. Should someone else know that? If you're even thinking that, yes. Yes. Why not? Why not add one more line? Because the time that it takes for people to read through those bullet points, and whether they're like, oh, I already knew that, but what if two people on the team didn't know that? And they read that and they were like, oh gosh, good to know, right? And it helped them that day. If you're even thinking like, should I include it? Yes, include it. So that update section is so powerful for async, because if that section is not included and you're running a bunch of async, I could see where a team could really go down a cycle that's challenging. I think that's the ticket. Everyone building a habit to communicate updates. And as fast as we're changing in an agile world, over communicate. Share it out there.
That's such a good recommendation. And to be honest, this happens to me. Sometimes, a lot of times for me, asynchronous, I'm actually able to process better when I see things written out
Yeah.
for a meeting than I can if I'm hearing it verbal, right?
Right.
Everyone has certain types of senses or processing that work a little bit stronger than others. For me, I'm not as much of a verbal processor. I'm more of a give me a picture, bottom line it for me, or put it in writing where I look at it really quickly kind of thing. That's not to say that when I show up to meetings, I'm not getting the information, right? I am.
Yeah.
But if you give me an option, the other one, I tend to pick it up a lot quicker if I'm seeing it in writing. And so
Yeah.
that's just something to think of too, is, I think sometimes we may overestimate how well we communicate verbally whenever we're running in-person meetings or meetings live at the same time. Just because you're doing it asynchronously and more of the meeting may be written out doesn't mean that you're losing quality of clarity of communication. It doesn't, because there's some people on your team that are going to be like, oh my goodness, kind of like me. That's like, wow, like this is to the point. It's very crystal clear. I got it. If it's not sure, I'm going to just post a quick reply here on this thread in this section and ask for a little bit of clarification. And there may be some people on your team that they process a little bit better that way. So I think you'd be surprised sometimes that for some folks, asynchronous may actually flow better with the way that their brains work compared to in person. Well, Nikki, we're coming up against it on time. Some closing thoughts from you, big takeaways, things that you want listeners to be thinking about when it comes to running successful remote teams in a healthy way. What are some of your closing thoughts?
Yep. So we talked about the power of rituals. We talked about over communicating and making that a habit for everyone. This death by meeting thing that is always top of mind for me. I always, I play chess with my calendar every day. It's like, just because it's on the calendar, I'm not keeping it on the calendar if I have another priority. And I think we have to take that into consideration about playing chess with the way we do meetings and who we're meeting with and how we're meeting with them. And so think about in a one-on-one where you're live, the energy that you have from others in a space where you're sitting next to each other, like it, just showing up gives some of that, right? On a screen, it's a little harder. And so what do we have to do? We have to change the way that we do meetings. We might need to spend a little bit more time talking about like a recent follow-up because we know a family member was sick, right? And we're just going to, because we need more of that. We don't have the water cooler time. So we need to show that we care and follow through and, have deeper personalized connection meetings, if you will. We have a way within our company that we prioritize communication on different channels and different priorities. So Slack is our mainstream. There is no urgent on Slack unless it's in the urgent channel. But if it's super urgent, you're not using Slack, you're going to text somebody. So text for us is, if it's urgent, you're texting, or if it's a like personal outreach or like a cool celebration, like you just want to make a personal touch, versus email. Email is going to be slower response, more information, like who wants a ton more emails. So like, I think our whole team is like, thank God we have Slack because it saves me 100 emails a day. So just thinking about the different communication channels and what is each one for. Because you have a new hire that comes in and let's say, you're on Slack most all day, every day, but then everything that they're sending you is almost through text. And it's like, but nobody else is communicating that way. It's really hard, right? So you have to helping everybody, I think whether you're in person or remote, like really defining those communication channels and having a primary one that is your leading source for remote, Slack, Teams, whatever. I'm a huge fan of Slack. So, and making special rooms dedicated to initiatives where not everyone needs to have that communication. Like we have a leadership channel and it's for leadership topics. We have another channel that's around community and our community effort. I don't think everyone is in that channel because not everyone's working on this. Business development. Yes, maybe in the wins, we're celebrating like business development outcomes, but in the business development progress channel, not everyone needs to be there. So having this platform for communication that is the number one, but then clearly defining the others. And then, I mean, there's so many things, Jason, I could go on and on, but I think the final one is, having highly intentional, dedicated meetings for purposes like fun. This is a fun meeting. Like we're having a holiday fun gathering. We're going to celebrate someone's birthday and do something, different and unique. And you got to put more thought into it. It's not like, again, you have a room with cupcakes and music and it just happens. Like you have to design the experience. Everything has an agenda. I don't know how I missed that. Let's just make that a norm across the board in everything work, but in remote work, having an agenda, even if it's a birthday party, even if the agenda says 20 minutes is just to chill. Okay. But giving that to lay this out so that the expectations are clear and that we stay on time. So Jason, I feel like we need like 10 more parts, but that's my best shot for today. What else do you have?
I love it. So just what you shared there, we have so much fun with those fun meetings, playing the fun, those social events that we do online with our team. So we had one in October and it was Halloween themed. And so we were doing things where we were doing like trivia questions. We had ChatGPT generate some questions around Halloween and then see how many people, kind of did round robin, who could answer first and get the most questions right on Halloween trivia. We're talking about what are your favorite Halloween movies. Then we had more of a Thanksgiving themed one for November. And so if you just put a little bit of time into those things to design them really well and figure out what your team enjoys, the different types of formats, whether you're doing trivia, whether you're just asking questions that everyone gets an opportunity to respond to, whatever it might be, those things might seem trivial to you, but they're not. Those are ways that you build connection, that you get to know each other on a deeper level outside of just the tasks and projects that you're doing together. And that stuff really matters, to see each other human to human and connect that way. And Nikki, that's been a beautiful part of my journey with PFN, is I feel like I've got to know team members on lots of deeper levels because of those types of social events that we do remotely with our team. So that's it. That's all we got for today. That went quickly, Nikki. Like you said, I feel like we could have kept going. But here's the thing. We will be continuing the conversation. We're going to talk about asynchronous meetings a little bit more in detail the next time we do an episode in February, a bonus episode of Working Forward. So thank you for tuning in today, listeners. If you haven't subscribed to Working Forward on your favorite platform, wherever you listen to your podcasts, please do so. And we've got plenty more to come in 2025. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Working Forward. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Until next time, here's to building tomorrow today.